Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and today you clicked this video because you want to be an amazing player in your RPGs. So let's get started. There's a lot of ways that you can improve as a role player. One of the number one ways that always comes up that I feel like some players are afraid to do is let loose. If you're holding back because you're worried about looking silly or making a fool of yourself, you're worried about the wrong things. Nobody's going to judge you. In fact, the more you let loose, the more the other players are going to have fun laughing and jumping in as well. Recently, in my Descent into Avernus game, you will see that Luke from the DM's lair is a very over-the-top player. He does great voices, and he pulls a lot of RP out of other players. There was a moment in it where Jake from Mini Terrain Domain was trying to come up with this deity, and he basically said, I don't know who my deity is yet. And Luke, in character, said, so who is your deity? And Jake went back and started playing up the multiple deities thing. And one of the funniest things came of that. Luke ended up saying, sounds like you pray around a lot. Oh, loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Everybody else thought it was hilarious. Got a nice little highlight clip over on Twitch for that. Speaking of Twitch, if you head over there right now and follow us, you can be one of our early followers. You can catch all the recent games we've done as well as any that come up live. We have a Wednesday night game currently, a Friday night game, and then once a month we do Descent into Avernus with my friends Luke from the DM Lair, Nate from WSD20, and Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. My wife, Paula, from the Awkwardly Nerdy YouTube channel as well. So if any of that sounds interesting, go over there, like I said, right now and follow us today. So not only should you let loose when you're playing, but you should just give maximum effort. You know, when it comes to role playing, a lot of it is just effort. If you're focused at the table and you're not on your phone goofing around. Now we use D&D Beyond, so we have to be on our phone a little bit for the apps or, you know, tablets or laptops or so on. And that's completely fine. But if you're the player that, oh, it's not my turn, I'm going to browse Facebook or Twitter or whatever, that's a problem. It's going to take away some of your focus. You're then going to miss out on things that other players say. You're going to miss out on clues that the DM gives. And overall, you're just not committing to the game you're involved in. And for some people, this might be okay. Maybe you run a more casual game and you're okay with your players, you know, doing whatever they want. Personally, I think you should be committed. It's kind of frustrating for some players at a table when they see another person's goofing around. And again, this kind of behavior is contagious. Other players then might screw around, seeing that you don't take it seriously. And you don't want that. You don't want things to spiral out of control in this way. So again, maximum effort. Part of maximum effort is just, again, being present, but also showing up. If you've scheduled the game for, you know, third Saturday of the month, and all of a sudden you just can't make it, well, that's a dampener on everybody's fun. Not only do they now have to figure out, okay, are we going to play the same game? Are you going to be involved in it? Or your character, is your character going to be involved? Are we going to leave your character out of it? Maybe we should play a card game or a board game instead. You know, it's a whole lot of hassle just because one person or two people don't show up. So don't be that person. Be the one who's reliable and shows up. Obviously, we all have family issues and we all have personal things that come up. But again, be committed, be reliable. The DM is responsible for a lot of things, and part of that is prep. A DM preps for hours on end for your 3, 4 hour, 6 hour session. And it's unfair to them when you show up unprepared. Maybe you, I don't know, didn't read the notes that were taken last session, something that maybe only takes a minute or two. You have not read about your character's abilities that they got when they leveled up at the end of last session. These are very little things that take very little time that just by doing these, you will make a world of difference for your games. I can't tell you how many times playing Pathfinder or Dungeons & Dragons where I've had to stop and look up a rule in the past, and it slowed the game down. It felt like I needed to quicken the pace after that because of the time lost. And I don't like feeling like a game is bogged down with, okay, now we got to spend 10 minutes looking up a rule. And there's a lot of people out there that are the same way. So make sure you know your character's abilities. Make sure you know a general rule that is associated with your abilities. Again, it shouldn't take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to look it up and understand it yourself. And it'll help your DM out. DMs usually know a lot of the rules, but it's not true all the time. Sometimes they don't know all the rules. Sometimes they're fuzzy on a rule. If you know you're going to use an ability that's going to require a certain rule, look it up. Something else that is kind of in line with this is knowing your character's spells. If you're a cleric or something like that, you have access to all the cleric spells. Try looking them up. If you're first level, look up all the first level spells, look up all the cantrips that you're going to use, and at least read those. Something you can do if you're not going to sit there and read your 4 spells and your 3 cantrips, at least pick up the spell cards so that you can quickly access them in game. And if you have to look them up, it won't take you more than 30 seconds. Now, again, if you don't have that, I highly suggest reading the spells you're going to prepare. I can't say this enough. This, again, will not take very long. If you as a player are not willing to spend 5 to 10 minutes understanding your character, you're probably going to be the bottleneck of the game. If you're somebody who just knows all the rules already and you already know how most of the class abilities work, then this should be even shorter for you. So again, just something to consider. And I know most people out there have felt like, hey, I don't know how my spell or my ability works. You probably should have looked it up beforehand. I'm just saying. If looking it up beforehand isn't your thing, when it's not your turn in combat, look it up. You've got 2 or 3 other players who are going to go before you, as well as the DM and all their monsters. So look it up then. This is a great time to do it. In combat too, you might think, okay, I know this. If this happens, I'm probably going to use this spell. Look it up. Again, be proactive when trying to figure these things out. So these were my 5 tips on how to be an awesome RPG player. If you are here for the first time, I hope you will smash that subscribe button, hammer that like button, and leave a comment below if you've got some additional tips. I'd love to hear them. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.